Failure opens the door to new opportunities. Imagine this. You're staring at the remnants of a project you poured your heart and soul into, and it's in ruins. The business didn't work out, the promotion didn't happen, or the investment failed. It feels like the end of the road. But what if I told you it's not the end? What if this failure is the very thing that's about to catapult you to unimaginable success? That's the mindset of the most successful people in the world. Billionaires, self-made millionaires, and industry leaders don't see failure as defeat. They see it as a redirection, a lesson, and an opportunity. Let's dive deep into why failure is one of life's greatest gifts and how it opens doors to opportunities you never thought possible. 1. Failure forces you to reflect and refocus. When life knocks you down, it gives you a chance to stop and think. Success often blinds us, making us complacent. But failure? Failure wakes us up. Take Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks. Early in his career, Schultz pitched his vision of an upscale coffee shop to over 200 investors, and almost every single one of them said, no. Imagine being told 200 times that your dream is worthless. For most, that would have been a sign to quit. But Schultz didn't give up. Instead, he reflected on his pitch, learned from his mistakes, and adjusted his strategy. Today, Starbucks has over 35,000 stores globally. Failure clears the clutter and refines your focus. It forces you to ask, what really matters? What should I do differently? 2. Failure helps you discover your true strengths. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, was famously fired from the very company he helped build. At the time, he described it as the most devastating moment of his life. But after some self-reflection, he realized being fired gave him the freedom to innovate again. He went on to create Pixar, revolutionizing the animation industry, and later returned to Apple to transform it into the tech giant it is today. Jobs once said, "Getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me." Failure strips away the non-essential and reveals your resilience, creativity, and determination. It shows you what you're truly made of. 3. Failure opens doors you didn't know existed. Sometimes, when one door closes, it redirects you to a much bigger door you didn't even know was there. Take the example of Sara Blakely, the founder of Spanx. Early in her career, she wanted to be a lawyer but failed her LSAT multiple times. Forced to pivot, she worked odd jobs until one day she stumbled upon the idea of creating slimming undergarments for women. That failure led her to become the youngest self-made female billionaire in the world. What feels like failure today might just be life redirecting you to a path better suited to your talents and purpose. 4. Failure teaches you lessons you can't learn elsewhere. Classrooms teach theory. Failure teaches wisdom. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, once launched a venture called Z-Shops, an online auction platform meant to rival eBay. It was a complete flop. Instead of giving up, Bezos analyzed why it failed and used those insights to refine Amazon's marketplace strategy. That failure laid the groundwork for Amazon to dominate e-commerce. Bezos later said, "Failure and invention are inseparable twins. To invent, you have to experiment. And if you know in advance that it's going to work, it's not an experiment." Every failure is a masterclass. The lessons you learn through failure are often more valuable than any degree or certification. 5. Failure builds emotional resilience. The path to success isn't linear. It's filled with peaks and valleys. Learning to navigate those valleys, those moments of failure, builds emotional resilience. And resilience is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Elon Musk knows this well. In 2008, both Tesla and SpaceX were on the brink of bankruptcy. Musk had to decide how to allocate his dwindling funds, save one company or risk both. He chose to bet everything, knowing failure was a real possibility. Fast forward to today. Tesla is a leader in electric vehicles, and SpaceX is pioneering interplanetary travel. Resilience isn't about avoiding failure. It's about bouncing back stronger. 6. Failure forces innovation and creativity. There's a reason why some of the most groundbreaking ideas emerge after failure. Desperation sparks creativity. When everything goes wrong, you're forced to think differently. For example, Walt Disney was fired from his first job at a newspaper for lacking imagination. Imagine that. Fired for not being creative enough. Instead of being defeated, he started his own company, only to face bankruptcy multiple times before finally creating Mickey Mouse and the empire we now know as Disney. Disney later reflected, "I think it's important to have a good, hard failure when you're young, because it makes you aware of what can happen to you. Once you've lived through the worst, you're never quite as vulnerable afterward." When failure pushes you out of your comfort zone, it forces you to think outside the box. 7. Failure builds empathy and humility. When you've experienced failure, you gain a deeper understanding of the struggles others face. Empathy makes you a better leader, a better friend, and a better human being. Humility keeps you grounded, even when success eventually comes your way. Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Group, has faced numerous business failures, from Virgin Cola to Virgin Cars. But each failure has made him more empathetic towards his team and more determined to keep innovating. He often says, "Don't be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again." Failure humanizes you. It connects you to others and teaches you to lead with compassion, turning failure into opportunity. Here's the truth. Everyone fails, but not everyone learns from it. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple: mindset. When you view failure as a stepping stone, rather than a roadblock, you unlock its power to transform your life. It's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. The next time you face failure, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to grow? What new doors might this open for me? Remember, failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. Every billionaire, every successful entrepreneur, and every visionary leader has stood where you're standing. They faced the same doubts and fears, but they didn't let failure define them. Neither should you. So, embrace your failures, learn from them, and let them guide you to opportunities you never dreamed possible. And when you succeed, because you will, remember to share your story. Because every great success story begins with a failure. If this article inspired you, don't forget to share it and let others know the power of failure. Together, we can transform challenges into opportunities and dreams into reality.